When you lead people, inevitably, someone's going to make a mistake. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. But as a leader, it's your job to have the moral courage to address those mistakes when they happen and provide preventative steps in order for those mistakes not to happen again. What you want to do when you see something going on that isn't going to help achieve the goals of the team, of the organization, somebody screwed something up, it's okay. What you need to do is have a conversation. You have to address exactly what happened, talk about the mistake that happened, talk about the impacts that that mistake could have on the team, on the organization. And then more importantly, you want to talk about how to avoid making that mistake in the future. Instead of just giving the feedback of, you screwed up on this, don't let it happen again, instead, you want to really dissect what that mistake was so that you and the person that you're talking to are on the same page and have the same understanding. But next, what you want to do is collaborate with that person and talk about ways to avoid making that mistake again. You're giving what's called feed forward. You're acknowledging a mistake, but you're focusing on the future. You're focusing on how to get back on track with where you were, and then separately, how to avoid making that mistake again. What you're doing when you give your people feed forward is you're looking into the future. You're providing dynamic mentorship to the people that you lead. You are helping them to develop new skills, new ways of critical thinking, new ways of spotting a potential mistake before it even happens. So you have to have the moral courage as a leader to recognize when mistakes happen, when people need to have that conversation. But so much more importantly is how you have that conversation. You don't just end it with what the mistake was. You need to follow up and talk about how to not let that mistake happen again. You may need to reinforce why you're doing what you're doing. You may need to make sure that that person is on the same page and has the same understanding of what the end goals are. This way they have a little more buy-in and they're a little more careful in the work that they do. So never be afraid to step up and talk about the mistakes that are made on your team. Even when those mistakes come from you, you want to address your own mistakes and let your team know that you understand that you screwed up and this is how you're going to fix it going forward. That's a great way of leading by example. So have the moral courage to call out mistakes, understand what those mistakes were, but most importantly, plan for the future and how to avoid them. By doing that, you'll have a greater chance of leading on.